Hey, what's up you guys? Today I'm doing my November wrap up and I actually thought I had more books to review, but it turns out I only read 3 books in November and one of those I've already done a whole separate video about, so this is going to be kind of a shorter video probably, but I hope you enjoy it. And before we start, please consider subscribing. I'm almost 400 subscribers, and also leaving a like. So yeah, let's start. So the first book I read in November was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Kesey. This was released in 1962, and the narrator is a Native American man known as Chief Bromden, who is in a psychiatric ward run by the nurse known as Nurse Ratched, who is hated and feared by the patients. So one day a new patient, Randall McMurphy, is admitted to the hospital, and he sets out to disrupt the ward and the nurse as much as possible. And through Chief Bromden's eyes, we really see how the patients change and start to stand up against the nurse. So I really didn't love this book, and I actually only gave it 2 stars. The main character, McMurphy, is a very flawed individual, and he's very misogynistic and at times racist, and these can be interesting traits in like fictional characters. However, not when the characters be portrayed as the hero of this story. So McMurphy, the entire way, is hailed as being like this great guy who's setting the patients free and standing up against the nurse. But in my opinion, he was just very unlikable. And yes, at times the nurse is very harsh, but the power dynamic in the story is very strange, because it's all of these men standing up against this powerful woman, and it's just written in a very misogynistic way at times. So the book also constantly mentions the race of the nurses' orderlies, who are known as the Black Boys, and these are not good characters. So it's constantly been reminded that these are bad people and they're black. Over and over again, it's like the Black Boys, the Black Boys, the Black Boys. And it's very uncomfortable to read at times. There's a lot of racist language around these characters, and because they are portrayed as being bad people, it's actually quite uncomfortable. So I just felt like it was very unnecessary to keep reminding us about their race over and over again. This is maybe the first time that I have read a classic and thought to myself, like, why is this considered a classic? Especially because this is a modern classic. So to me, it's been known as a classic because of its merits, not just because of its age. So then I set modern classics to like an even higher standard. And for me, I just did not really understand why people love this book so much. I just don't understand why it earned the title of being a modern classic. So the second book that I read in November was Supernova by Marissa and Meyer. This was the 3rd book in the Renegade series and the conclusion to the trilogy, and I love this book so much. I actually did an entire whole video, which I will link down below, just about this book. However, that is a very, very spoiler-filled video, so only watch it if you have already finished the book, because I just talk about everything. I tried to film like a non-spoiler bit, but it was just like too much. I just had to talk about it. So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much more about that, but I really, really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend the Renegade series to anyone who is interested in superheroes and, you know, young adult novels, which I actually do like. I just don't read as much of, but that's going to change next year if you watch my 2020 TBR video. So yeah, if you've read Supernova, go watch that video, which is down below. The 3rd book I read was The Bingo Palace by Louise Erdrich, and this was published in 2017, so it was a very recent book. And I picked this up as part of the indigathon. I don't like committing to readathons at all, but I wanted to like support my friend Michelle, who was one of the co-hosts along with Itu Brody. Michelle's channel is Thor Wants Another Letter. Please go check both of those channels out. I'll also link them. So yeah, I picked this up just randomly, and it follows Lipsha, who is a young Native American boy who returns to his reservation and falls in love with a Native American girl called Shawnee Ray, who is already engaged and has a baby with his cousin. So I sadly did not really like this book, but for kind of like complicated reasons. So the actual writing itself was beautiful. I loved the writing, and I would definitely read something else by this author because I really liked her writing style for the most part. However, the main character Lipsha was unbearably annoying. Like, I hated him so much. He was like a drag to read. So he falls in love with Shawnee Ray almost instantly, like insta love, and we're never told why he's in love with her, other than that he thinks she's beautiful. I guess I don't know. I did not like it at all. So she basically does not show any interest in him back. But he becomes obsessed with her, like obsessed. Like his every thought is about this girl. There's a couple times she like flirts with him and like kind of leads him on a little bit, but like that's it, and it's just okay. So he is so like whiny and annoying, and having to read his inner thoughts was just like so boring. I literally wanted to throw the book away. And there was some chapters that focused on other characters, like there was some that focused on Shawnee Ray and like Lipsha's grandmother, and I don't know, like a few other characters, and I actually really liked those parts, which is why I know that I would definitely read another book by this author, because I really liked those other chapters. But as soon as we went back to Lipsha, it was just the same stuff over and over again. It was just Lipsha whining about how Shawnee Ray doesn't love him for the 40th time. So yeah, I really didn't like this book. I just hated spending time with Lipsha. Like her other characters were great, but Lipsha was just so bad. Honestly, I don't even remember how this book ended, because the last like 40 pages, I literally was just flicking through, like just trying to get it finished, because it wasn't even a long book. It was like 200 pages, and I was like, it took me so long to read because I just was not into it at all because of this main character. So yeah, and that was all I read in November, which is not that much, but you know, had two books I didn't really like, one I loved. It's not the best month. And I'm currently halfway through East of Eden, which I'm absolutely loving. I was hoping to finish it by the end of November, but life happens. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you've read any of these books below. I feel like no one's really read the Bingo Palace, but people have definitely obviously read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it's so highly regarded. Like Goodreads, like there's so many good reviews, and like I don't know, I just didn't get it, to be honest. I will maybe watch the movie, because the movie's like really highly regarded. It's got like Jack Nicholson in it, so maybe I'll watch that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Comment obviously and leave a like, and I will see you later. Bye.